सब्सक्राइब कीजिए चैनल कैंपस वार्ता and press the bell icon button to never miss an update from Campus Varta.
The most awaited event, packed with knowledge and fun, is finally here and we can't wait to get it started with. Light symbolizes the absence of darkness, grief and unhappiness. The lamp is invoked as Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, meaning the lamp leads us from darkness towards the light. Knowledge removes ignorance just as light removes darkness. To mark the commencement of the event on a successful note, let's go ahead with the lamp lighting. And I request our esteemed speakers and the guest from HPCL, Mr. N. Raja Rao Garu, the Chief General Manager, HR, HPCL, and Mr. Shamim Sir to kindly come onto the stage and proceed with the lamp lighting. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I won't keep you waiting anymore. The time to reveal what's more in the store of Vriddhi has finally come. I will take this opportunity to invite Mr. Sai Ganesh, Business Secretary of IIM Visakhapatnam, to take us through the journey of Vriddhi, how it actually began and shaped up into this mega event, striving to offer nothing but sheer excellence. Over to you, Ganesh.
A wise man once said, change is inevitable. Will you drive the change or be driven by it? A very good morning to one and all present here. History of mankind is witness to the fact that nothing in this world is constant except for change. Starting with the innovation of wheel, agricultural, industrial and the IT revolution, economy has always changed for the good and better. In fact, ignoring the starting glitches, people were always able to adapt to the changes. However, in this era of digital revolution, why is that rather than driving the change, we are getting driven by it? To some extent, our industry has come to terms with this change and it's moving forward. But the most significant asset of our economy, our manpower, still must get over this inertia. This is because there is a humongous gap between the skill set of the people and the needs of the industry. On this note, I present to you Vriddhi, the annual business conclave of IIM Visakhapatnam. The theme of Vriddhi is Next Gen Corporates and Economy Revival. We, as the business cluster of IIM Visakhapatnam, have taken this initiative to bring together the two most important aspects of economy, industry and people. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the inauguration of Vriddhi. This is the first of a new series of annual business conclaves where stalwarts from various domains of business industries grace us with their presence and share their insights on the theme. To effectively benefit from the changing economy, It is essential that we, as management graduates, set ourselves ready from the transforming our processes and practices. This is exactly where Vriddhi fits into the jigsaw puzzle. If you take a look at the schedule of the conclave, you will agree that this is going to be a busy and productive days. There is a lot to offer for a 2-day event like this. To give you a glimpse of what we have in lineup, we have 2 panel discussions, 5 case study competitions, 10 insightful guest sessions, and many more fun-filled events. I offer my best wishes to all the teams participating in the finals of the case study competitions. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude towards the humble offerings by HPCL, our event sponsor, Dare to Complete, our online event partner, Yo Isaac, our offline media partner, Your Story, our online media partner, and CMR, our print partner. And today we have honorable dignitaries from HPCL, Mr. N. Raja Rao, Chief General Manager HR. Thank you, sir, for your presence. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Consulting Club, EPIC, Prapriya, Markets, and Finance and Economics Club for diligent and perseverant will to shape this event as it is. Finally, I hope everyone here is able to make the best use of everything that Vriddhi has in line for you. Thank you very much for listening. I would now like to welcome our beloved Professor Shamin Javed onto the dais to deliver the inaugural speech. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, one and all. I neither have the required qualification or the stature or achievements to be delivering an inaugural speech. But it's my humble request to allow me to call it a welcome speech. Dear dignitaries, guest speakers, delegates, and my dear students. It's my pleasure and a great honor to be standing here and delivering this welcome speech on this occasion of the first version of your business conclave, Vriddhi 1.0. So, Ganesh had made my work easier, but let me give my attempt to explain you what Vriddhi is all about. Vriddhi is the culmination of Conflux and Exordia. Some of you will know 2 flagship events which we used to do. One was a business event, another was an entrepreneurship event. And we felt that these 2 cannot go separate and they has to come at a common platform. Because entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship has to go hand in hand if we have to make rapid progress. It's an amalgamation of old and new. It's an amalgamation of proven business practices and entrepreneurial spirit. It's an amalgamation of excellence and creativity, an amalgamation of maturity and youthfulness. Coming together on a single platform to discuss, debate, deliberate, and generate ideas which is needed for us to get the much needed Vriddhi in our lives and to the Indian economy. The selection of speakers is very befitting to the occasion and the theme which you have chosen to be the first theme of your ongoing business conclave. The next gen corporates and economy revival. Young, dynamic, and extremely talented leaders from various fields of the industry will be addressing you in the next 2 days. They will share their knowledge, experience, and invaluable stories of success and failures, which gives you an opportunity to not reinvent the wheel. They are the giants, they let you stand on their shoulder and make incremental progress. This gives you enough immense opportunity to take it as a learning experience. And use every bit of it to learn, to experience, to debate, to discuss, to agree to disagree, and learn how you can use all of this learning in the long career which awaits you. So let me also take this opportunity to talk briefly about the various clubs who came together to make this event. This is jointly organized by Operations, Marketing, Consulting and Entrepreneurship Club of the Institute. These clubs, by their various events across the year, keep doing events which help you, both students from the Institute and outside the Institute, to showcase something, a talent which is within you, to a larger platform. I'd also take this opportunity to talk briefly about IIM Visakhapatnam and why we are special among the prestigious family of IIMs. With students and faculty coming from across the country, I think more than 20 states, we represent a true national character. We have at present close to 300 students ranging from 4 different programs which we run. 22 faculty members who are extremely talented and qualified, excluding me, and equally competent and supportive team of non-teaching staff. And of course, a very helpful, outreaching and dynamic leadership we got. In the last 4.5 years of our existence, we have done relatively better compared to the third generation IIM, if I am allowed to say, and even better than some of the second generation IIMs. Apart from the flagship PGP program, which now is an MBA program after the 2017 IIM-V, we also offer postgraduate certificate program in management. We have started PGPX, a 2-year MBA program for experienced working professionals. We have also commenced our PhD program from this academic year, and we seek to increase their strength to almost 50 PhD scholars by next academic year. IIM-V is launching a unique postgraduate program in digital governance and management, which will commence from January 2020. This program is in collaboration with Ministry of Electronics and IT, METI. We have also conducted many short duration management development programs during our existence of 4.5 years for public and private sector organizations. From this region and across the country, we have also are the first ones amongst the new IIMs to have announced an open MDP calendar for this financial year. We have conducted many development programs in the field of management, technical education, and entrepreneurship. We have an active incubation center where we support 25 ventures completely from the ideation stage, which was run by women entrepreneurs from the state of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Apart from these women startup program, we have also been awarded a Group 3 incubation center by Ministry of Electronics and IT, which will commence operations very soon. This is a unique program supported by Government of India, where our center will be supporting 10 ventures who are working in the IT and ITS related space domain, who are at the ideation stage, and 10 who are at a prototype stage which needs commercialization support over the course of next 5 years with a very good support of financial grant. And this is just the beginning. We plan to shift to our new campus, state-of-art, 240 acres, which is very close to this, 25 kilometers from the center of the city, at a place called Gambhira. And we plan to shift there by June 2021. And I'm very sure that there will be no looking back. Very briefly about our students, I would like to talk about our students to the guests and delegates. Our students are extremely talented, positive, humble, and well-behaved. They actively participate in business conclaves across the country and win and have won many accolades for the institution. I don't want to get into the list of it and make my speech, which is already boring, even more longer. Now, let me also, because some of you may not be from Visakhapatnam, very quickly tell you about Visakhapatnam. Visakhapatnam is called the Sunrise City. It's one of the cleanest cities in India. Small, where you get the comfort of a small city, but facilities of a big city. It's a nice city, presence of almost 5 PSUs and many private sector organizations. We have the Eastern Naval Command in the same city, and all of this brings cosmopolitan culture to the city, and we hope that together we will make this city one of the brightest in India in the days to come. Now I'll just briefly, before I conclude, talk about the organizing team and the learning they could get from this initiative. Let me onset thank the organizing team for putting up a wonderful show. I know it's just the beginning, but I'm very sure there's going to be, the picture is going to be better, much better than the trailer. I, on behalf of the Institute, acknowledge and thank you for all the hard work which you have put in the past weeks and months in putting up a show like this. And parallelly handling the pressure of academics and placements, which is running parallel. I, however, would like to make a few points, little bit of learning from my experience. Events like this is a stage in your career which gives you an opportunity to showcase, as I told you, your talent, but even more, to identify the talent which is hidden in you, but you are not aware of it. I'll give you a case. Suppose there are two persons, Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A is extremely talented, and on a scale of 100, his talent quotient will be somewhere around 80. But his awareness of his own talent is only 20%. Take another case where somebody is having a talent on a scale of 100, which is only 20-25, but is 90% aware of his whatever little talent he has. Trust me when I say, the second person in long run in his life will be more successful than the first one. So try and figure out in these events what really touch you. What are the things where you think you can excel? Recruiters don't come to find people or find an employee who do not have much weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. We cannot know everything which is there, a sea of knowledge in the world, and therefore we all will have some or the other weakness. Try to identify your strength and play by your strength if you really want to make a mark in your career. I hope the business leaders from India who will be talking to you will stress upon this point, and you will learn from their experience in the next 2 days. Let me once again extend very hearty welcome to the 2-day-long extravaganza of knowledge, experience sharing, networking, competition, learning to win, learning to lose, with humility and grace. Trust me when I say, indulge in whatever way you can, while keeping your eyes and ears open during the course of the 2 days, as it has potential to transform your careers and lives. Before I conclude, I would like once again to thank guest speakers, dignitaries, delegates, my faculty colleagues who supported you during this journey, and the staff who had been always supportive, and wish a very successful and fulfilling Vriddhi 1.0. I'll close it with 2 lines in Hindi. Allow me to say, ईश्वर वृद्धि को वृद्धि के माध्यम से यहाँ उपस्थित हर व्यक्ति विशेष को उनके व्यवसायिक और निजी जीवन में दिन दुनी और रात चौगुनी वृद्धि दे। शुक्रिया।
Thank you so much, sir. When learning is purposeful, creativity blossoms. When creativity blossoms, thinking emanates. And when thinking emanates, knowledge is fully lit. When knowledge is fully lit, economy flourishes.
This quote by late Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam highlights how values like creativity and learning are the backbone of knowledge and economy, and how important it is for all of us to imbibe these values within us.
Respected speakers, faculty members, esteemed guests from HPCL, non-delegates from corporate and academia, and my dear friends, a very good morning one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to Conflux 2019, the flagship event of the consulting club IIM Visakhapatnam.
As you all know, today the world economy is in a volatile state, which makes it extremely important for businesses to come up with innovative strategies to flourish. With good practices in place, there is an immense scope for businesses to emerge as winners in the stage of volatility in almost every domain, from finance to marketing and operations. Keeping this in mind, we present to you the theme of Conflux 2019. It is strategy and channeling growth in this volatile global economy.
Companies have tremendous business opportunities to tap into. But the outcome of business opportunities and how to strike a stability in business varies from one business to another. We are extremely privileged to have 4 esteemed speakers from various domains and functionalities of the business world gracing our event today, who would enlighten us with the same. We welcome all of you, respected speakers, on behalf of everyone here. So I would now like to call Sagar to introduce our first speaker for the day of Conflux.
Good morning all. Now I would like to request Mr. Rahul Mukherjee to come on the stage. So, Mr. Mukherjee is the VP at Accenture Interactive Operation. He has been leading large teams providing cutting-edge digital marketing services to global clients. He has over 19 years of experience in the service industry, including 16 plus years in IT-enabled services. He is a hands-on innovator with a track record for driving change quickly and effectively with proven outcomes in highly ambiguous situations. He describes himself as an ambivert, and he loves to introspect and find creative outcomes to scenarios. He truly believes that emotional intelligence is the most important quality we can possess in today's world, and an absolute must for leaders. I will request Sir to share his thought on the topic, how digital disruptions are leading to innovation in business models.
Great success. I'm given to understand that this is one of your first business events that you're making at such a large scale. So all the best to you for the next couple of days. Hope this event gives you all the success that you expected from it. Right. So I didn't go to an IIM. I actually started my career doing hotel management and working for Renaissance, managing bars before I moved into this industry back in 2005, right? Sorry, 2004. And so that's why it's a privilege for me that you would ask me to speak over here. I was speaking to my wife the other day, and I was telling her, did you in your wildest dreams think that I would be opening keynote for an IIM business event? And she looks at me and she says that, what makes you think you are in my wildest dreams? So, well, that's what 15 years of management do to you, but let's get started. My name is Rahul Mukherjee. I work as part of Exordia Interactive Operations, but we help activate some of the best customer experiences for some of the largest organizations in the world. Basically, what that means is we manage marketing operations, all of the digital stuff that you see from your web to your relationship marketing, emails, SMS, multi-channel, omni-channel, data analytics, all of that stuff is taken care of by some of the teams that sit out of Mumbai. Right? I live in Mumbai with my wife, who's a fashion designer, and my 7-year-old son. I'm here to talk about digital disruptions and how that's impacting business models. So let's get started. Right? Let's talk a little bit about disruption first. As I was growing up, disruption was always had a negative connotation to it. Right? It would mean that you were challenging the natural order of things. You were going against accepted rationale, aligned processes. But over the last couple of decades, disruptive innovation has changed all of this. And so let's go in and look at what disruptive innovation is. Right? So disruptive innovation is not an innovation that takes a product and makes it a lot better. Right? By definition, disruptive innovation is when it transforms a product that is usually so much expensive, so inaccessible, or so complicated that only a few people with a lot of money and a lot of skill have access to it. And then to take that product, disruptive innovation makes it much more affordable, much more accessible, and much less complicated, so the larger population has access to it. So let's take an example. I'll start with an age-old example. Much before any of you were born, even before I was born, we had the first manifestation of the digital technology was a mainframe computer. It used to, a computer used to occupy a huge room, and it used to cost millions of dollars, and it used to take years to learn how to operate a computer like that. Right? But over the years, that moved to the mini and then the desktop, and then that subsequent disruptive innovations moved to laptop and today the smartphone. And this has made this technology much more accessible to the general public, and we're all much better off for it. But it was very difficult for the pioneers of this innovation to catch these new waves, and more often than not, it was new companies that would disrupt, like Apple, Microsoft, and it would really cause a lot of problems for these erstwhile pioneers. So in every company, every day, every year, people are going to senior management knocking on the door, saying, "I've got a new product for us." And some of those entail making better products that you can sell to, for higher prices to your existing customers. But disruptive innovation essentially has to cause you to go after new markets, right? People who are not your customers currently. And the product that you want to sell them is so affordable and so simple that your current customers are probably not doing it. And that is what disruptive innovation is about. So let's talk about the different types of innovations. Professor Clay Christensen, he explains in his book Innovator's Dilemma, there are only about 3 types of innovations in the world if you look at it from a different type of lens. The first type is disruptive innovation. It's denoted here in 3 concentric circles. It's the way I would represent it is the center, the circle at the center are the customers who have a lot of skill and a lot of money. And as you go out, that progressively lesser skill and lesser money, and so on and so forth. Almost always industries begin at the center, right? Because the first products are complicated and expensive. And so I explained earlier about computers, mainframe computers, costed millions. Then desktops costed maybe a lakh or so. And then smartphones today are available at 10, 12,000 rupees. So by making it affordable, accessible, many more people have access to it. And so you have to hire more people to service it, to sell it, to distribute it. And so therefore, disruptive innovation creates net growth, creates new jobs, and moves the economy forward. Automobiles are another example. The first cars were looked at toys for the rich and famous. And then Henry Ford came and made it much more affordable for the rest of the people who own it. And then somewhere around the 60s, Toyota came along and made the subcompact, which they call Corona, and then suddenly college students in the and then the Orients came along and disrupted that by making cheaper cars. So disruptive innovation for you is way of challenging the natural order. You're challenging accepted rationale. The second type of innovation is called sustaining innovation. Sustaining innovation is basically their role is to make good products better, and they're very important in society because if you don't keep making good products better, your margins will fall and your company will dissolve. Right? So when you go out in the world, you see most of the innovations you will see are more sustaining innovations. But sustaining innovations, by the very nature of what they are, they the Helino, it's called Nexa Helino. But if I sell you that product, then you would not necessarily go and buy a market. You will not probably go and buy the generation of product, which is not as superior as that, right? So sustaining innovations are good, but they don't drive a lot of good and essential, I might add, but they don't drive too much net growth and therefore not too much jobs. The third type of innovation is efficiency innovation, and their purpose is to help you make more with less, right? And they're also very important because if you're not getting ever more efficient, you'll get killed sooner or later. But by the very nature, efficiency innovations eliminates jobs, right? So when you have an efficient production management system, or when you have a big chain like a D-Mart or a Big Bazaar, they'll come in and they'll offer some jobs to people there. But in the larger ecosystem, it eliminates more jobs. And but the key thing to remember about efficiency innovation is that it creates free cash flow. And that is the because this increased cash flow can then be channeled to fund the next round of growth. Because as long as these guys are creating more jobs than these guys are eliminating, and as long as these guys are creating more cash flow to fund the next round of disruptive innovation, it's all good. The economy does well, and companies also do well. But what's happened in the last few years is we've seen in some instances, in some companies, some areas, that this link seems to have broken somehow. We've started using a bunch of metrics, profitability metrics like IRRs and stuff like that, which basically so IRR, internal rate of return, right? It's a fraction. The numerator is profitability, and the denominator is how soon can you recover the money. So as a fund manager, I have two options. I can invest in profitability, or I can invest in something that will give me returns in a shorter duration. And either ways, in that case, IRR will go up and I'll be a star. But these ratios have a big impact. And the reason that they have a big impact is that profitability metrics for efficiency innovation, if you calculate by these ratios, will always be better than the profitability metrics for sustaining innovation. And the profitability metrics for sustaining innovation will always be better than profitability metrics for disruptive innovation. And so therefore, disruptive innovation always struggles to attract capital and managerial attention. And the net result of these ratios is that we take the capital of the company and it gets funded and channeled into efficiency innovations. And so we have free cash flow. and then we hire analysts to take a look and to think what we should do with excess cash. And we look at disruptive innovation, and we think that we should be looking at funding another round of growth through disruptive innovation. But then these things take like 5 or 10 years to get money back and to start improving its profitability, right? So, and these guys need capital, so putting the money in disruptive innovation will mean our profitability metrics will go down in the short term. So maybe just once I will invest this capital to make more capital through efficiency innovation. And so we do that. The profitability metrics are great. We have more capital, and there's a problem now. So now we have more capital, and now we have to decide again what to do with that money. We again look at disruptive innovation. Sorry. So we again look at disruptive innovation, but again, 5-10 years is too long. Profitability metrics will go down. We're always thinking short term, right? And there's a danger in this cycle. If you want to look at what's happened, you take a look at Japan. In the 1960s, 70s, Japan was growing at unprecedented rates. Corolla was making low-cost cars, which would be bought by college students back in the West. Honda was doing the same thing with bikes. Sony was doing the same thing with consumer electronics, and Canon and Xerox and all of those kind of things. But from the 90s, a lot of this has changed. And Japan, this is profitability metrics has been going after efficiency innovation. And don't get me wrong, they're fantastic at that. They have mastered the art of efficiency innovation. But all this, efficiency innovation has ensured, if you look at the economy of Japan, it's more or less trajectory is flat. It's constant and flat, right? But we have to grow, and while we must invest in efficiency innovation to generate capital and free cash flow, and while we must continue to invest in sustainable innovation to continue to improve our products, services, value proposition, and generally our standard of living. But we must also continue to invest in disruptive innovation, because as a country and globally, we need step changes. And disruptive innovation is what moves the humankind forward. Right? So now, while disruptions are happening in every sphere of life, whether it's energy, cleaner, renewable, natural, in the field of agriculture, technology is becoming accessible to our farmers, the way we travel, self-driving cars, smart homes. One of the areas that's leading this charge is digital. And digital disruptors are mushrooming everywhere, and the democratization of the internet and the connections that this enables continues to push us forward at a breakneck speed. There was the agrarian age, then there was the industrial age, and then we moved into the information age, and I think we're now moving into the social age. And this is being enabled more and more by digital. So let's start to look at companies and how they have used the abundance of cheap and almost free bandwidth to make innovative changes to their business models. And in doing so, they've fundamentally shaped destinies of the industries that they play in. Right? To do this, I'm going to use this tool in a very different way than it was originally intended. This is called a business model canvas. I'm sure some of you, or most of you, may have seen this and used it in some way, shape, or form. Quick 101, you figure out what your customers are, who your customers are, figure out what the value proposition is, figure out how to get, what are the channels that you get that value prop to your customers, figure out the key activities, resources you need to do it, who you need to partner with, the revenue streams that will drive the money that you earn, and then the underlying cost structure, right? But I am, that's a super fast reflection or orientation, if you will, but what I'm trying to do right now is not actually map out a business model, but really to show you how some of these companies are using the power of digital to disrupt components of that business model. Right, so let's start with Amazon. What did Amazon do? They took a bookstore, they put it online. they connected the buyer and the seller. They didn't have to carry a copy of inventory, and they did this all through the digital medium, right? And then they made it hugely successful, and then they went and applied it to everything else from A to Z, right? And Flipkart is a similar thing in India. They were benefited hugely with the fact that Amazon didn't exist in India at that point in time. Let's look at the customer segment side. These companies are providing really cool services that have used the power of data to tap into targeted customer segments. They're using social, relationship marketing, analytics, and a frictionless customer experience to drive value to their customer segments. And let's look at the revenue stream side of it. Look at what Spotify did. If you remember back, many years back, we had to buy a full CD or DVD album for 650 rupees, even if you like just one song in that album, right? I remember Lucky Mr. America at that point in time, but 650 bucks. And then what iTunes went and did was that they modularized it and kind of you could buy one song for whatever 50 bucks. And then Spotify came along and they created a streaming service, and it made it absolutely free of cost. And the revenue model was that the customers who were using Spotify would see ads, and those ads would generate revenue, and the revenue would then be paid out to artists, and it would also fund the company, right? So they did that, and it's not very successful initially, but what they then realized is they wanted to go for a subscription model, and they created an extremely superior product. They got rid of the ads. They were able to successfully move 27% of their customers to a paid subscription. And it's amazing. I'm part of Spotify. It has AI, it has deep learning, it is learning my preferences, it is recommending music that I would like, and that's what happens. Look at these guys. Tinder came along and disrupted the online dating industry. It was simple, easy to use. It respected the privacy, and as both parties showed interest, nothing was going to happen. Furlenco offers furniture out on rent. So people who are moving to a new city want to live in a rented property for 6 months, need not buy furniture, and so on and so on and so forth. You can keep on filling this up as much as you want. Airbnb partnered with people who had spaces available which were lying vacant, and they didn't have to own any property, and they disrupted this digitally. I don't know how many of you have used Airbnb, but it is a fantastic interface, right? The privacy of the owners is respected, the address is masked until you confirm your booking, and then it has a way to communicate with them, it has a way to pay, you get your receipts, everything is done online, you don't need any human interaction at all. And then similarly, Alibaba went and made cheap stuff possible, get each other stuff, doing resources. Paytm revolutionized their payment activity, and companies like Shopperstop through their loyalty programs are redefining customer relationships and how to personalize the loyalty experience. And this is important because the evolution of the customer is a phenomenon in and of itself. In this era of the digitally savvy customer, the idea of being customer-centric has taken on a new meaning. Customers are unforgiving. They live in an integrated marketplace. They expect brands to be always on, conversationally intuitive, mobile-driven, and at the same time to respect their privacy. Right? And the product-driven messaging era has developed into a relationship-driven messaging era. And to be able to activate experiences consistently across markets, across touch points, is what will make the difference for future brand growth. And so I believe that experience is the new battleground for brands. Deep, meaningful relationships are built on great experiences. To win, brands have to offer customer experiences that create new value across every interaction. And experience is how we engage, how we sell, service, reward our customers. It is basically a summation of every interaction that the customer has with your company. And successful companies are those who simultaneously transform their core businesses to be more efficient and effective, and while at the same time experimenting, innovating, and scaling new ways of working. And today, companies realize that simply checking the box on digital is not enough. It needs to be part of the company's DNA and a lens through which they see every aspect of it. So that means a different journey for marketers as well, like me. And that you're using agile platforms, you're making use of the dynamic ecosystems, you're learning to understand data well. Marketers have always essentially been about the creative, right? But today, this is a shift to technology and data driven marketing. Humans at the core, knowing your talent, learning, unlearning, relearning as you go along, the cost and value, trade-off. So, last few slides. So this is what the unified brand experience would look like. In the center, you will see that you have the brand engagement and enablement platforms. From there, we enable experiences, orchestrate experiences for customers across based on what we know about the customer. Then we create a back channel that feeds back into the organization. Users are responding to the experiences that we are creating, they're opening, interacting, etc. And that, on one side, helps us orchestrate the next set of experiences, but on the other side, it helps us innovate, right? To innovate new products. What do they need? And then that helps us transform the organization, and that feeds back into creating an infinite loop and a two-way dialogue to deliver our messages. So why is this important for us here in India? Just look at the stats from a recent study done by Deloitte in the retail industry. 650 million internet users by 2021, the reach of the number of smartphone users, amount of money in retail, digital influence within retail, and this is just retail. I think there are three top sectors that I think are going to get disrupted over and over again in the next few years: retail, financial services, and healthcare. Parting thoughts. I think disruption brings exponential change. Exponential change brings unlimited possibilities, and unlimited possibilities bring increasing customer expectation. So embrace change. It's an exciting time. I think it's one of the most exciting times to get into the workforce. I wish all of you students all the best. Thank you for having me here. And if there are any questions, I can take them now, or I'm around for the rest of the day as well.
The stage is open for question and answer, so please go ahead and ask questions.
Good morning, sir. So my question is actually two-part. The first part is, how is Accenture Interactive leveraging the machine learning and bots to survive in the current economic slowdown? And the second part is, as you know, the innovation these days has become inevitable. How do you see consulting companies speeding up the process and supporting the process of innovation?
Right. I think Accenture is heavily invested in various things. We want to make sure that we move up the value chain of the work that we're doing. Some of it is by removing redundant activities and eliminating non-value-added work. So stuff that is business rule driven is slowly getting eliminated by bots and RPA and machine learning and AI and all of that stuff. And so we can free up our, as I said, humans at the core. We transform our talent along with it. We free up the talent, transform them, train them so that they can work at more value-based jobs. So that's number one. Number two, how consulting companies can help in this, help other companies innovate and just in this innovative economy or ecosystem. I think they have a huge role to play. I think as consulting companies, and I'm not a consultant myself, okay, I'm not a consultant, I'm not a sales guy, I'm a delivery, hardcore delivery guy who makes stuff happen on the ground. But as consultants, they have the ears and eyes of some of the top leaders. Being able to focus on the long term, right, and being able to drive thought of top leadership, of top organizations, the long term rather than short term profitability metrics, just to help a small short term goal. That is, I think, a key thing that consulting companies should look at, and thereby it's not something that happens overnight. It's a journey to be taken together, and that journey needs to happen step by step, and this needs to be put into the minds. It's not a checkbox activity like, okay, now we're digital, right? It is an ongoing journey with your customer to like an infinite user asset. So that's my answer.
Guys, can we take it one question? Who's been the last question? In case you don't know, sir is available after that. So anyone last question? Anybody?
Thank you, sir, for giving that wonderful insights into how disruption is going to be now in the future. So my question is, so will the artificial intelligence make way for new operating system, or will they kill the current smartphone operating system? Because right now artificial intelligence is still, I believe, not in the reach of people. So how do you see it going forward?
Is your question that will artificial intelligence kill the smartphone ecosystem? Is that what?
Yes, absolutely.
I think there are two have different utilities. Okay? I at least not in the short term. I don't see it in the short term. Artificial intelligence has a different role to play. It has a role to play in making human lives better, right? And so it will take away all of the dreary, boring, mundane tasks and enable a frictionless experience. Like you think about getting off at Vizag airport and your app tells you that, hey, welcome to Vizag, your cab is waiting for you at this thing, this is your cab number, this is the number of your driver, etc. You go out, you sit in the cab, you approach your hotel, you've been checked into your hotel automatically, and then you go to your room. Your room has already been placed with things that you prefer, 2 bottles of water, 1 box of chocolates, whatever it is, right? So it makes the human interaction frictionless with these systems, and that's what artificial intelligence will enable. I don't believe that it will take away the smartphone anytime soon. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me.
So, valuable session. We'd like to present you with a moment. Thank you, sir. Our second speaker for the day is Mr. Ashish Goyal. I would like to now request him to come on the stage. And take this opportunity to introduce him. Mr. Goyal, after doing his master's, has been working for various Fortune 500 companies globally for incorporating and ramping up businesses, enabling growth and profitability, solving complex business issues and handling international, governmental, as well as commercial contracts. His expertise has been in leading finance business partnering across functions, managing contracts worth billions of US dollars, and business operations spanning across various industries, covering aerospace and defense, shipping and logistics, and IT and AI. Currently, he is serving as the CFO of Intel. I now request him to share his thoughts on the topic, how businesses are transforming themselves to sustain a growth path in this dynamic environment.
Bonjour, hola, guten morgen, buenos dias, namaste, everyone sitting out here. I'm very excited to be here first time at IIM Visakhapatnam, and I'm really looking forward for the challenges in the Q&A session. So please switch off your Facebooks, WhatsApp, and all other calls. So give me 20 minutes and I take you to the entertainment journey. So let's see how this goes. Yeah. So myself, Ashish Goyal, I've worked for Airbus and Maersk in the past. Currently working in an artificial intelligence company. We are the most advanced AI company in India right now. The topic I have been chosen for, I don't know why they believe that I'm the right person to be here. Thanks to Mohit, Soumya, and all the exciting members of this club who believe me to come here. So thank you for inviting me. So let's discuss about this global Fortune 500 companies. How the transformation they are doing to sustain and grow in the volatile market. First thing about myself, I think it's good that you should also, get along that who is the speaker. So I think Sir mentioned very well about himself, being married with a son, and it's nice. For myself, I just prepared the companies I am being associated with. Some of the Indian companies I worked was Airtel, ICICI Bank, Bergerpaint. That was a short-term internships. Then over 90% of my career I was with Airbus, Aerospace and Defense, and Shipping and Logistics was. I've worked and lived in 8 countries. So that means you have a residence, you open the bank account, you go to the postal offices, you do all the things to make your life in those countries. And I traveled across 40 countries globally to run the business for these companies in the last 15 years. So I have 20 minutes, 1 minute I've already eaten. So let's do like this thing. We split the session into 3 different elements. The first one, we discuss what is the volatility. Because we speak a lot about market violations, this market is not going great, but what does it exactly mean? And I will just showcase also that what is the role of a CXO, which is the CFO, the CEO, in the Fortune Global 500 companies, what exactly they need to do. The second element we will talk about is the strategy which is existing so far for these companies. And the third element of the presentation would be focusing on the disruptive element. What is the future ahead looks like. So, volatility. Market is favorable for all these 500 companies, but there is something which makes them going through the tough ride each and every day. First thing, global economy. Second thing, oil and gas, then you have interest rate, you have exchange rate, you have climate, you have geopolitics. When we talk about global economy, last year 3.7% growth, excellent. This year forecast 3.2%, already 15% less growth rate. So you can imagine the global growth is not going. How I am going to grow my business? Second, oil and gas. Big industry which generates growth for all the other industries. If oil and gas doesn't go well, then the logistics, the FMCGs, the big construction, heavy metal industries, they all are impacted by that. So it's very important that oil and gas prices doesn't fluctuate. But we see last 1 year, the barrel price goes from 50 to 74. And thanks to the lower oil barrel price, the Indian economy was doing great, but that was kind of artificially doing great in the last 5 years because it was heavily supported by the oil price. And now when the oil prices are going high, we see that the growth rate is coming down to 4 to 5%, which is the actual rate where the Indian economy was also growing. Third thing, interest rates. So Euro, US dollar, GBP, the world biggest economies, the currencies. What is happening right now, if you look at the euro swap rate, it's negative. So you put your money in the German bank account for 5 years, and after 5 years the money will be less, not more. So the bank will charge you to keep the money in their bank accounts. So it shows that for the companies, let's say for the 50 companies operating in Germany, what do they do with their money, where they are going to invest their money. So that will look over. Fourth, foreign exchange. When you work for these companies, and you know, next 5 years you are going to be working for these companies, you will understand your commercial contracts which are in different currencies. If a single 1% of the currency fluctuates up or down, it has a net impact on the bottom line. For a company like Airbus, it has a hedge book of $1 trillion over the next 15 years. So if 1% of the interest rate fluctuates, it has a €1 billion negative impact on the bottom line. So you can imagine how critical this factor impacts. So when we say there is a volatility in the exchange rate, it really drives everyone. Climate. So right now you hear about Paris Agreement, CO2 emissions. We don't want to use plastic. We want to use solar energy. We want to go to electric cars. This is all driving the behaviors for these companies to change, to adapt themselves, to understand the consumer behavior, to understand the compliance factor, and to be compliant with that. Geopolitics from China, we all know. From Mexico, we all know. Venezuela, the greatest economy of South America, has been bankrupted. You know, I was there and I can tell you, Venezuela was like a dream for South Americans. To go one day, live in Venezuela, enjoy the life, nice beaches, but then today, completely bankrupt. Half of the population has went outside the country. Brexit, still no clarity in what would happen. North Korea, Saudi Arabia, this is the permanent things, and they really drive things up and down. So, when you have all this volatility, what is the role of the stock market for sitting in these 500 companies? And I tell you, they enjoy the life. And the reason is, if you are the CXO of these 500 companies, and you don't enjoy the success, then you don't need to be there. So you are working hard to be successful. Successful means to enjoy the life, not to stress out. Oh my God, what will happen to my targets? I'm getting sleepless nights. And guys, do something else. So, you see, the checkmate in the middle, on the top, certainly has played cricket, they really enjoy the life. But they do have another thing to deliver. And what is the other thing they need to deliver? Is this. The four things with global Fortune 500 companies needs to focus on. First thing, top line. You need to deliver my revenues for the next 5 years. Make me the hockey stick. Define the growth pattern, get the commercial contracts done, by hook, I don't care, but you need to deliver the growth. Second aspect, they need to deliver the bottom line. Either you call it EBIT, you call it EBITDA, you call it net profit after taxes, you call it net profit, operating profit, whatever the way you look at the KPI. They need to work hard to get it delivered. The third thing is the strong pipeline, which means the order book. So you are having a great business, but you don't have the future. So if you are the part of the top, means it's an ongoing business. Ongoing means you need to secure my business for next 10, 20, 30 years. Which means commercial partnerships, get the contracts done, and make my order book strong. Fourth, last but not least, is my stock price. These companies are registered in the stock market. Every day they have investor relations. There's a heavy investment they do on the investor relations to make the stock price look strong. And when you deliver all these things, these companies flourish. Now let's go to the second part of the presentation. What is the strategy? So you have seen, if you study about these 500 companies, the list keeps changing every year. But what happens that some companies can fall down, they can come to 550, 600, 700. But normally they stay in the league. And the strategy, what we've seen in the last 2-3 decades, was basically revolving around these things. The first was globalization. This is the word here, which means let's go global. So banks, what they were doing each country opening their branches. What Coke was doing, it was creating a distribution network globally, so that every corner of the world you can buy my food. So all these companies go globalized. They open the subsidiaries, they open the legal entities, they open the branch offices, they open the commercial offices, and success was coming out of there. And so it was like, if you are a big company, you say, I operate in 50 different countries. And that gives you the reputation, that brings your brand. Second thing they focused was outsourcing. So, late 70s, 80s, different kind of industries focusing on how can we reduce the cost of the company. So the companies which were related to, let's say, fabric, clothes, they say, okay, let's go to Bangladesh. And let's do our outsourcing in Bangladesh, Thailand. Then there were companies which are related to manufacturing. And they said, okay, for us the base in China, so let's make a cheap labor production in China. We will do shipping in logistics and transport the products globally. For IT companies, they fortunately choose India, also some of them choose Philippines, to set up their bases and reduce the cost significantly. So sitting at the top, you started enjoying the life, The cost was going down, you have a great business coming from the globalization, and the life was easy. Life was getting easy, which means high salaries, great packages, driving great cars, and enjoying the life. The fourth thing which came in the last 2 decades was digitalization, that when you have global offices, global supply chain, how you manage the communication, how you manage the data, and that helped via the digitalization. So there was ease of communication, offices had Skype, and now you use WhatsApp, even in offices. So that really helped these companies to transform the way they interact, the employees interact with each other. They had global offices, 24/7 working environments. They had smart customer support, any helpline you call 24/7. But please understand, there's a lot of work which has been done behind these realities. Because there are companies setting a customer in US, but then how do we have 24/7 support? It means you have to have a global geographical reach to have the employees working for you 24/7. So this is what was happening for the last 3-4 decades, and everything is great. This company is very important. But what happened after that? All is working fine with this company, with their strategies. They have the best talents. They have people from Harvard. They have people from IIM. They go to the best university, and they have people. They are talented. They know how to manage the business. They know how to manage the challenges. But then something is not right for the last 3-4 years. The market is very sensitive. We see something is not right. Why? Because the 4 guys comes in and they said, okay, thank you everybody, we did a great business, but now we are here to kill you. First was Airbnb. I don't know anything, he said, but I rule the business, So even you don't have a hotel, you have a room, you can go, you can earn money, and the customer is very happy. So a really disruptive element in the market. When you call it disruptive, it means disruptive means a global phenomenal approach, going to reach out to every unique customer, accessible to everyone. Tesla, so Daimler, Toyota, Honda, everyone was so proud of themselves. And they said, okay, this guy is crazy of Tesla, he doesn't know anything, he has some weird plans, he doesn't know about his investments, but look where Tesla is today. It's a pioneer in electric cars, electric vehicles. Whatever they do, they are the best. And they established it. They said, we will go for electric cars when the market was not ready, when the policies were not ready. And I can tell you, I was driving Tesla 3 years back to this state. And when I come to India, I was discussing with the IIM about the policies for electric cars. And we are not yet ready even to draft the policy for the electric cars, where in some parts of the world, the people are already using the cars. So that shows the sense of urgency we have from our governmental sides and from the other countries which are really advanced to adapt them in terms of using them. The third, Uber. Okay, in India we call it a lot of Ola, but Uber is very disruptive. I remember very well 5 years back, 6 years back, when Uber came, there was a big hue and cry in Germany. All the taxi drivers, they said, okay, come on, we cannot accept Uber coming here because, everyone can access through their smartphones and it's killing our business. Then all over Europe, all over US, all the emerging economies Uber went, there was a huge hue and cry. Everyone said, we don't want this to happen. But see, the market changed, the competitor came, the homegrown competition came, like in India, Ola, in Spain, Cabify came. There are many examples. So that, these disruptive elements are there to help the community, to serve the community. So you can defend, but they will not stop. What will happen in the end, the new competition will come. Fourth, the WeWork. Recently, I think most of you are aware of it. They don't own any of the buildings, but they have the best offices. Right now in New Delhi, Gurgaon, they are really coming up with new best offices, really nice. They offer free beer in the evening to all the employees. So you can come after the office, you don't need to spend money. You go down the ground floor, you have all the nice things, and you say, oh, nice, I want to work in WeWork. So they know how to, get the best part and attract. So when the disruptive entrance comes in, the question is now on these Fortune Global 500 companies, what do I do now, guys? I'm really nervous, and I can tell you, I've been with CEO, CFO of these companies, and they are really worried about just because of what these four companies have done in the market. First, shipping and logistics, and now I will just describe the transformation journey they are adopting. So we are in Visakhapatnam. Most of you are aware about shipping and logistics, I believe. A lot of big vessels comes in, you put on the containers. Our biggest container, Mumbai Maersk, can contain 20,000 containers. So it's like a big Titanic. And if you're in the containers, you can imagine it's a 20 feet equivalent container. Some are 40 feet equivalent containers. And you can put like 8 cars inside the container. And you can put your whole home inside it. And then it takes a journey. So for shipping and logistics, this is like, I was with Maersk. This is part of the global Fortune 500 companies. The biggest worry of Maersk right now is that they don't want something like Uber comes up, that people or the B2B companies can book the logistics just by using an app of a third party. So you are not contacting Maersk, CMC, MSC, take any big name. You're just going to some app and you order and it shows you all the options, of this logistic company, and you can choose. And that's what they don't want. They don't want to be a second player. So their strategy is quite unique. And I was part of the strategy to define this for some time for the southern of Europe and for North Africa region. And the big element they come is to find the customer. So let's say, okay, let them come, but we find the customer first. And how you find the customer? Today, if you want to do logistics, you order the shipping company. What else you can do? You can do customs, you can do warehousing and distribution, you can do 3PL. So they started offering everything, which is not their core, but they said, okay, let's buy the custom company, let's do everything. Let's do inorganic growth, who are peripherals, who are doing a similar business part of our industry. And we will absorb all of them. So we become a big giant, customer comes to us, and we offer end-to-end solution. So that is the strategy which big logistics and shipping companies are adopting. IT companies transformation, Microsoft, great product, everyone uses it, but still Satya Nadella is very nervous. And if someone follows him on LinkedIn, you can see last 2 years he's meeting all the global CEOs. He goes to their doors and sends them, sir, please sign me an agreement for next 10 years. And we do the commercial agreement that you will stick in Microsoft. And that's the strategy they are working to stay in the market. Anything which comes up in short time, they will be secure. Automotive transformation. Automotive, this from best because in India itself, we are seeing a lot of news about automotive industry. The pain which we are getting for BS6 transition is huge. It should not have been done like this. But for the global companies, they are not worried about BS6 because they are already doing the transition to BS7. Their biggest worry is the electric vehicles. So currently they are spending huge amount of billions of dollars on the investments, on batteries, on cable cars, on the wiring systems, to get the system enabled, to have the new electric vehicles get ready by 2025. FMCG beverages, Coke. So think about it. Coke, every corner of the world you get it. So they should be worried. Ideally, no. They have the best distribution network, best products, diversified products. But in reality, they are struggling to find what could be the risk for them. So the problem is they are not able to identify the risk. And in recent publication of Coke, in the strategy update, they have said, for us, the biggest risk we anticipate is in the product portfolio itself. So we want to advance the product portfolio that we are capturing the needs of every consumer. So that's the vision that we see. The last slide, growth enablers, priorities. When you're part of these companies, you need to focus on two things. Customer retention, emotional intelligence. So what do they do? The climate change compliance. So you will see a lot of companies say, we pledge that we will be, we will not do carbon emissions, or we will be CO2 neutral. It's like Adidas. It says by next 5 years, 10% of the shoes we will make will be coming from the natural, recycling products. And what it really does is they are not changing their manufacturing significantly. They are just capturing your mind, the consumer, that see we are eco-friendly. Because they are consumers who believe I should be the one who should not pollute the environment. So I should be associated with the brands who are aware of these things. So they are really capturing your minds, doing nothing else. Electric vehicles, you can drive diesel, petrol, but electric you feel like, okay, I should not use. In Delhi, I see people nowadays not using plastic because they want to feel associated with, the cause which is running. The second thing, they're working on the startup mindset. So anything they see startup which is linked to their industry, they go and buy that startup. So you will see, okay, Google has invested in 5 kind of startups. They're not interested in the startup, they're killing the startup. They sit there on the board and slowly they will just digest all of it. So this is the part of the story. Let's not let them. Or if they grow significantly, then we have to do valuations, 10 billion, 20 billion, and later we will buy them in any. Simplification of globalization, B2B partnerships, long-term commitments. Great example is Satya Nadella. He's leading in this. Globally, people are following him. He's showing how to knock the doors, going out of your office, and get a partnership done, ensuring every big player in the market keeps buying out. So manage existing. The disruptive part is not only to grow, but also manage existing. You see for Tata, managing Jaguar and Range Rover is a real mess. They invested billions when they bought this company in UK, and over the years it has incurred losses and losses. They have not yet been able to recover from it. So you need to also manage your existing portfolio. Say for the Hawaii, the mobile company, which is recently going through the bankruptcy, and a lot of things. So I think, meanwhile, I think my 20 minutes are over. So
thank you, sir, for which you shared your insights. Guys, we are open for question and answers. So please raise your hand.
Hello sir, thank you for the insightful session. And my question to you is, you were talking about globalization as a strategy. So considering the protectionism that prevails in the world economic way, how difficult is it to take globalization as a strategy in the business?
See, without globalization, you cannot reach out to the customers worldwide. So, I'm only speaking for the big one. Small, medium enterprises, they don't care about globalization so much. They care about 50 kilometers of radius. The big companies, if you're not thinking globally, you cannot survive. Because to be part of Fortune 500, you need to have exponentially billions of revenues, which you cannot generate from only one country. So it has to be part of a strategy. You need to grow. If you look at OYO in India, it did great, but then now it's going to part of the globalization. They're expanding. They are facing numerous governance challenges, but growth is the power. And if you don't grow, there is no fun. So it has to be an integral part of the story.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one last question.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. I would like to know that how do you identify as an entrepreneur?
A little bit louder, please. Thank you.
How do you identify financially material business issues and which framework do you use to tackle these issues?
So how do you identify financially
the business issues and which framework do you use to tackle them?
Right. See, anything which, when you're signing the big contracts, when you're doing the supply chain negotiation, everything goes through finance. Right now we are a finance business partner concept, which means you cannot be a traditional finance people like an accountant. Traditionally it was an accountant who goes to the office, do the number crunching. Right now you need to understand the commercial, you need to understand the procurement, supply chain, all the operations. And then your business partnering with them. The financial decision is part which comes normally we call it a gate check, the financial approval. So you need to study, what are the financial compliance, what are the risks. Imagine you sign a contract, you don't care about the hedging, and you execute